Can you believe what happened to Navalny?
Yeah, it's absolutely shocking. He died suddenly in that Arctic prison colony.
And it's not like this came out of nowhere. His family and team had been warning about the danger to his life since he was arrested after recovering from being poisoned.
Right, and he was fearless in accusing Russian federal security agents of being behind that assassination attempt.
Navalny always aimed to challenge Putin. But with his death, it feels like a significant loss for Russia's opposition.
Especially with Putin gearing up for re-election and no serious opposition in sight.
Exactly. And now, with global leaders holding Putin responsible, it's clear that Navalny's death has far-reaching implications.
Even neighbouring countries like Latvia and Estonia are calling it state-sponsored murder and demanding accountability.
Navalny's imprisonment was brutal, with multiple instances of solitary confinement contributing to his deteriorating health.
It's tragic. He had such a vision for Russia, one of freedom and conscientious governance.
Yeah, he called it the beautiful Russia of the future. It's heartbreaking that he won't be around to see it.
This is the Russia held up as shining beacon by the far-right wackos in this country. Make no mistake, they are looking to create a similar nation here. Vote like your life depends upon it, because it may very well be true.
Trump recently said if elected, he would tell Putin to do whatever the hell he wants to do to other countries in Europe. The death of the courageous dissident Navalny is an example of how Putin kills his enemies and anyone who advocates for democracy or challenges his power. We can never elect Trump who has told us what he would allow Putin to do. Biden is the only person we have standing in the way of Trump's dangerous plans. Get over whatever reservations you have about his age and vote to re-elect Biden if you value our freedom and democracy.
This man knew speaking out against Putin and his oligarch buddies was a death sentence. It was only a matter of where and when. A man of courage and conviction. If we elect DJT in November, this is what he wants to bring to America. Take a good look. Remember, the GOP is holding up aid to Ukraine. Wonder why?
President Biden blamed Russian President Vladimir Putin for Alexei Navalny's death Friday, calling it proof of Putin's brutality. Some of the sharpest reactions came from leaders of neighboring countries that were once part of the Soviet Union. Latvian President Edgars Rinkevičs. Navalny was just brutally murdered by the Kremlin. Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas. Navalny's death is yet another dark reminder of the rogue regime we're dealing with, and why Russia and all those responsible must be held accountable for each of their crimes. Meanwhile, followers of Tucker Carlson are informed about how much better grocery shopping is in Russia.
I'm so saddened at the murder of Alexei Navalny. Navalny was one of the most courageous persons in world history, whereas Russian dictator Vladimir Putin and his useful sycophantic idiots, Donald Trump and Tucker Carlson, are some of the most odious and cowardly creatures ever to walk the earth. May Alexei Navalny's family and friends and the Russian people find solace in Navalny's selfless heroism.
He was dead the moment he decided to go back. He sacrificed himself for his country. He's a hero.
It would be a nice tribute to Navalny to pass the Ukraine funding and name the bill after him.
Putin has wreaked havoc on Ukraine, killing thousands, and now he's killed the leading dissident in his country. This is where we're headed if Trump is ever again our president. Trump is a man who admires murderous dictators like Putin, why he can never get near the White House again.
D.C. and every city where there is a Russian consulate should think of renaming the street where the embassy and these consulates should be, Navalny. Imagine, these sons of bitches having to eat it every day they give their address or send official letterhead.
Chilling to think that while Tucker was fawning over Putin and giving him a platform to spread his lies, Putin had already given the order to kill his main opponent.
The rise of Trump within the Republican Party has led to a concerning trend, an increasing alignment with Putin's interests. This allegiance is not only evident in the party's rhetoric, but also in its actions in Congress. From withholding funds for Ukraine to fostering instability at the border and exhibiting resentment against President Biden, the Republican agenda seems to echo Putin's desires. Consider the numbers. With approximately 30% of Americans supporting Trump, and thus indirectly supporting Putin, it's alarming to realize that this amounts to around 110 million individuals. Such a significant portion of the population seemingly aligning with a leader known for his ruthless tactics is disconcerting, especially when compared to the favorability ratings Putin enjoys within Russia. Despite America's claims of a free and transparent media landscape, It's evident that manipulation occurs. While most Americans wouldn't openly endorse Putin, they're unwittingly influenced by his agenda through the Republican Party's actions. This manipulation is facilitated through bribery and corruption, with Putin effectively leveraging the party's members to serve his interests. The situation underscores a profound irony. There are more Putin loyalists in America than in Russia itself. This stark reality challenges the notion of American exceptionalism and calls into question the integrity of its democratic processes. It's disheartening to witness such widespread manipulation and betrayal of principles among Republican voters, who seem oblivious to the true motivations behind their party's actions. Moreover, it's clear that Republican lawmakers are not acting out of ignorance, but rather out of self-serving corruption. While they may attempt to justify their support for Putin, their actions ultimately betray the trust of their constituents and the interests of the nation. This is not a lack of intelligence, but rather a lack of moral integrity, as they prioritize personal gain over the welfare of the country. In conclusion, the increasing influence of Putin within the Republican Party is a troubling sign of moral decay and political manipulation. It's imperative for Americans to see through the facade of supposed democracy and demand accountability from their elected representatives. Failure to do so only perpetuates the erosion of democratic values and the empowerment of foreign interests at the expense of the nation's well-being.